Welcome to Woman on It Hack the Future. My name is Beata, and today's PhD Positivity Hack delivered will be by our guest Tina Fisic. Topic: Career, Learning, Parenthood, and the Courage to Make Bold Choices. Episode 110 starts here. Let me remind you, this is a grassroots community that focuses on women on IT, an inclusive forum of women in technology, startups, and female leaders who are supported by men as well. And I bring heart to that hustle because empathy is my mojo, and empathy is critical when you're building career, when you're learning, and being a parent. Let me remind you about things that's been happening in our community. Congratulations to our former PhD guest, Elaine Montilla, on being shortlisted for the 2023 Lifetime Achievement Award at the Women in IT Awards. We are rooting for you, Elaine. A big applause to Angelina Tsuboi, a 17 years old who started coding at the age of 7. She has already developed several apps and aimed to help people solve problems, a winner in Apple's Swift Student Challenge. And now Tsuboi is heading to NASA this summer to focus and work on building aerospace cybersecurity projects. A very talented young woman in tech. It's definitely a role model for our daughters and sons. Finally, Naira Hashem, we would like to congratulate you. You've been our guest twice already, continuing to inspire others with her knowledge and determination in the technology industry. Congratulations, Naira, for your first Google I/O extended event. Keep rocking. Now let's go back to our topic: career, learning, parenthood, and the courage to make bold choices. In today's rapidly evolving world, individuals face the complex challenges of balancing multiple roles and responsibilities. This episode delves into the intersection of career, learning, parenthood, and the challenge of making choices to pursue your passion and create fulfilling life. I am thrilled to have Tina Fisic as Senior IT Manager at Ipsos UK as our esteemed guest. Despite holding a prestigious role as a Google's ambassador for women in tech in Croatia, Tina made the audacious decision to resign in order to strike a harmonious balance between her role as a mother, manager, and cyberpsychology student. Join us as we explore the nuances of work-life balance, the pursuit of personal and professional growth, and the transformative power of making courageous decisions. Tina, let's start with a question. Where are you calling from?
Thank you, darling, for such a great intro. I'm calling from Zagreb, Croatia, a hood near the woods because we have a lot of mosquitoes. I was just trying to fight some mosquitoes off here, and yeah, great to be here.
Thank you so much, Tina. Just a reminder to those who do not know where Croatia is, it's based between beautiful countries.
It's across the sea from Italy on the mainland. It's bordering with Slovenia, Hungary, Austria, Serbia, and Bosnia. We are in European Union and we are in Schengen, and we have euro as a valuta.
That's
That's it.
Absolutely. You're much more progressive when it comes to adoption of euro, because in Poland, where I am at the moment, we still operate with Polish zloty, and I hope the prices in Croatia were not heavily impacted by the currency change.
They were. I'm glad you hope for the nice things, but yeah, they were. It's ludicrous. Like if any of the listeners come to Croatia coast this year, prepare to have more money, at least 60% more money than last year, because the prices are unreasonably high. And if you can choose to come after the summer or at the end of spring, because then the prices are lower. But during this summer, this is a bad situation.
So, Tina, I've heard that you've been 1 week at work since your maternity leave. I wanted to ask you, how did you feel when you were the full-time mother versus how you feel now that you came back to work and you're no longer a full-time mom?
That's an interesting question, and I've been thinking about it, and I still don't have an answer. But I would say that I don't take things at work. I don't take them. Um, I was a career-driven woman for like 15 years, definitely. And now the career is like in fifth place. The money is good. I have my own time. I can I do what I love, and that's really 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 important. But I don't feel the urge to know everything and be the best and give my 200% at work. And now I'm more. I value more private and business hours.
Mhm. Well, we have greetings from Olga Vasina. She says, "Hello, woman on IT, and great to see you back, Beata." Thank you so much, Olga. Lovely to see you. Hopefully, you have some great questions to Tina. Coming back after maternity leave can feel kind of weird. It's almost like you're starting anew in a new company. And I was wondering, how did you prepare yourself? Did you keep abreast of what's happening in the company, or were you just like que sera sera?
Okay, so I was on maternity leave for a year and 2 months. In Croatia, we have a long maternity leaves, and I had to go away 2 months earlier because I was 35 when I had a child. So, by our health standards, I have to go to maternity leave earlier. So it's called like taking care of pregnancy. So I've been away for a
Mm.
long time, and I was like when I was pregnant, I was always looking at Slack and reading, catching up on emails, and trying to be in the loop. But it's impossible because we have a. Okay, so the company I work for was bought by Ipsos UK, and the company is called Dotmetrics. My bosses and my colleagues manufactured big data analysis machines similar to Google Analytics, but it's better and unhackable with strict parameters. Uh, so the system itself is super complicated with a whole lot of metrics, a whole lot of different metrics definitions, and that keeps changing depending on the state we're in. State, like I really mean like UK or Australia, because every state has its own rules and its own uh, higher body of regulations when it comes to digital media analysis. So I missed in on a lot of things, and it's a struggle to remember when I left off and what's new and why is it new. Is it a business decision or is it a technical decision? So I'm I'm still learning. I mean, it's just been a week, but yesterday I had a good meeting with clients, and I did solve a thing because I did remember something from almost 2 years ago as a hack, and it did solve a tagging issue with the client. So yesterday was a good day. Small wins for the start.
Well, Tina, I'm sure it's not an easy process because you definitely feel a bit exposed. However, I was interested in your talking about how you set your priorities or reset them. What made you change your priorities from career driven to personal life development driven?
My son, of course. I mean, everything changes when you become a mother. I didn't believe that at first. I was telling people, I'm not a mother. I'm a Tina with a son. It's like Tina with extra. But my son had his first birthday 1 week ago, and I'm just like, I'm a mother. I'm a mother. I love that little boy to the moon and back. And I mean, it makes you think differently because like 2 years ago I would be working overtime even if I didn't have to. I would be anxious if I didn't know the answer. I was trying super hard and that was always backfiring because now I'm more relaxed. You don't have to know the answer. You work in a team of 30 people, and Ipsos is like 1,800 people in Ipsos, so you can ask anyone. But I was really trying to be the brains, and now I don't care about being the brains. I'm more about teamwork now because teamwork makes my life easier and makes me have more free time.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, does it mean that you try to delegate some of your tasks, or you are not staying overtime?
I didn't have the need to stay overtime yet. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I have tasks, I have one. I mean, it's just been a week. I have no experience to talk about it more. I used to delegate my tasks a lot, especially because I had a lot of juniors who I was teaching. So, like, the delegation was part of the onboarding or teaching because it's really a complex job. But I've been in digital marketing for over 10 years, and this is just like digital marketing with a next step, more technical digital marketing. So it was easy for me to learn new stuff, but I, it's only been a week. I can't say. I used to
Mm.
delegate.
Well, oh, uh-huh. Good. Well, we have a question from Olga. Interesting question indeed. And I wonder what's your answer going to be. In a year and 2 months, do you think that is excessive as maternity leave for either your career or your employer, which has a significant burden to cover?
In Croatia, I don't know where Olga is. Olga, thank you for the question. I don't know what the law is. So in Croatia, the state is paying me to be on maternity leave, and it pays me, I think, 80% of my salary for the first 6 months, and then it pays less. But because my salary was it was big, so the last 6 months was also like a significant amount of money that I was getting, and it's like the junior colleague that was replacing me. He had me on phone all the time, so when he had any questions, any problems that he couldn't solve, I would answer him. So I was there, but shadowing.
Mm,
Um, and employee has a significant burden to cover. No, no,
mhm,
I don't
mhm,
think so. I mean, they didn't say that it was a burden, and they were because I wanted to come back to the job after 6 months because I was really missing the job. But my boss was like, "Are you mad? Stay home with your son. You're gonna miss everything." I mean, all of my bosses, they're like my age or like a year here and there. So, and they all have children, so they're really cool and they understand. Basically, my boss didn't let me come back after 6 months, and that was a great decision. Thank you, Jan. I know he's not listening, but that was really a good decision on his behalf. And I was angry back then, like, oh my god, he doesn't let me come back to work. But I'm really grateful now, and I mean, everything is fine. This is normal in Croatia. A lot of women even take 3 years. They have 1 year of
mhm.
paid maternity leave, and 2 years. It's called the pause. They freeze their job. and by law, your employee must take you back.
Well,
They
we
want to
have a
give us.
lovely. Uh-huh. Mhm.
Okay, so
Well,
by law they
it's
can't fire me.
great to be. Sorry, it's breaking here. I think
Yeah.
it's the storm that is looming in Poland. So sometimes I think you finished, but actually it's breaking bad here. Anyway, it's great to have supportive team members, especially when your boss knows how important is the first couple of months of the child's development. And I'm glad that you could enjoy. And we're going to talk about the guilt of a mother soon. But first, let's say hello to our lovely Zlatan. Here
Zlatan,
we
hi
are.
Zlatan.
Zlatan Muratovic, amazing. Greetings from Germany, he says.
Hi Zlatan. Yeah,
Here
he's
we
a friend
go.
of
Must
mine.
be your friend.
Yeah.
Excellent. And then Olga Vasina, gosh, generous government, how they can afford to spend in the future.
By
Well,
tourists.
I think the government is not. There you go. We have tourists. That's how we are supporting our mothers.
Yes, yes, and
Absolutely.
yeah.
So, mhm,
No, actually tourists, and we have like
excellent.
25% PDV rate, and a whole lot of
Mhm.
money comes from tourists. So it's kind of a joke, but it's not really a joke because tourists do pay for our maternity leave. Thank you,
Mm.
tourists.
So, how was it during the pandemic? How did your government cope with lack of tourism because of lockdown?
There were tears on the streets. People were falling down. Not really. In Croatia, the people by the coast were devastated. They were like, "I'm gonna die" and everything. I mean, there still was tourists, but it wasn't mad as it is this year. And they all survived. They couldn't buy, I don't know,
Mhm.
caviar for 1 month, but I think they survived. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it all went quite well.
Well, let's focus on our parenthood and victimhood and how to cope with the fact that sometimes we feel that we are missing out.
Mhm.
Do you, Tina? Do you feel that you're sometimes missing out on development of your child and you wish to have a secret camera to see your child during working hours?
Um, no, because I work from home, and so does my husband,
Ah,
and the nanny is here,
uh-huh.
and so they're all like here, and I'm not missing anything. I mean, okay, so my husband is 39, I'm 36, and we waited until we were financially stable enough, careerly stable enough to have a child, and we were thinking about it and planning it, and we want to make it perfect so we can have a child here until he goes to kindergarten, and we have the means and the ground to do it. So I'm not really missing on anything, and my child is happy with his nanny. Nanny is happy with us. In my spare time, I go to play with him. He comes to the meeting with me, and I don't have to go to the office, so I'm lucky enough to work remotely.
Mm. Well, you
So
you said to me before we started our live stream that you have a very timid and very nice son. I mean, he's not causing any trouble. However, I'm
yes.
thinking about all these mothers who have ADD-driven children with lots of sugar in their veins. And is there any advice you would give to these mothers who are struggling focusing on work because they can hear their children screaming, yelling, jumping in the background?
I can't. I can't because
You can only be sorry.
yes, yes, I can only be sorry because really my situation was planned to the bone. And when I was on maternity leave, I was working as a consultant to somebody, And I also made a lot of money. And my husband and I are now buying like 130 square meters apartment in the center of Zagreb, and I planned everything. If I had a job where I was supposed to, I don't know, work somewhere else, or couldn't afford a nanny, or couldn't afford, or my husband was not so supportive, or like my money was low, I'm the type of person that wouldn't have a child because I don't really love children. I love my own child, but that's. I mean, and this is not the answer you were looking for, but I can't. Like, I'm sorry for those ladies, but.
Mm,
Um, I wouldn't be in
mm,
that situation just because I'm not like the motherly type that really want the child.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But also, you're giving a very sound advice, which is plan everything in
Yeah.
advance. So you
Yes.
had everything mapped out, and not only the financial freedom, but also making sure that you're gonna have a good background of support after
Yeah.
you come back to work.
Yeah. 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 That was planned and negotiated, and like months and months and months and months before I came back to work. And we talked to all of our family. We took a babysitter 8 months before, and my husband and I went on a date every Tuesday, and she was taking care of Ren. Ren is the name of our child. So we would be certain that he would be okay for 8 hours with her every day when I come back to
Mm-hmm,
work. And so that was 7 months of planning. And if she wouldn't click with him, like if they wouldn't vibe together, we would take in another nanny. So I did make the time period for any adjustments and any problems that might occur. Of course,
mm-hmm. Yep,
planning is everything.
excellent.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, according to recent survey, parents only have about 30 minutes per day of me time, where they can have the ability to unwind and recharge. Recharge. Is that something that you do, or you didn't really think about it or plan it yet?
Mm, So I used to love going out, and I still love going out. Maternity hasn't changed me to the core. I mean, I read a lot about mothers who were saying like, when I became a mother, I'm a completely different person. I am not. I still like to go
Mm,
out, and I still like to come home at 5 in the morning, and that hasn't changed. I still like my old friends. I still like to have a beer or bevanda. Bevanda is white wine and water. Like all the French
mhm.
people are, well, no, but yes, and I still like to do stuff like that. And the only difference is, of course, I have a child and I can't be like drunk and unsociable the next day. But here is my husband, and we always agree. Okay, so this weekend is your time to go out. I'll take the child and go to my parents. And this week is your to go out. You take a child and go to your parents. Or I won't be home at 5. I'll be home at 3. I'll sleep, take the child in the morning, and go out for a walk. And when I wake up, I'll have my coffee, and I'll be back to being mom. It's also planned. It's also planned. I thought I was going to change as a mother, but I really didn't that much.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Now we have a lovely comment from, I believe, another friend of yours. That's my best friend, and she is beautiful, says Ines Kesic. I hope I'm not pronouncing her name
Okay,
wrong.
yeah, yeah, and she's my best friend, and she's beautiful.
Excellent. That's beautiful support from Ines. Thank you. Now, Olga is asking a second question. Do you believe you missed anything in your career by being off for a year and 2 months?
Nah, no, I said that like in Croatian. Nah. Uh, no, because I was in a company for 2 years, 2 and something years prior, and I was in a status where I knew everything by heart. So if you would wake me up in 3 in the morning and ask me a question that's like, the Ajax tag is falling and the data is like this, I would just look at the Excel chart and I would know the answer. So when I came back, it's easy for me to get back to that because I really knew stuff. I wasn't having a cheat sheet on the side. I wasn't asking somebody all the time for everything. I wasn't anxious about my knowledge. I didn't feel like what was the word, imposter syndrome. I didn't have an imposter syndrome at my job. So when I come back, I still have my knowledge. I didn't go dump, especially because when I was off, especially when I was off, I did some work for one company on the side, and I learned more, and I had time to read, and I don't know, I think that everything was okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you should ask my boss about that.
Excellent. So, oh, there you go. Well, I think it's very important you touched upon the confidence and how you believe in your self-worth, and you know your knowledge is not going to be, replaced, and this is something that many of females struggle in the workplace. They always feel that they are not knowledgeable enough, or they are scared to ask questions because they fear somebody may think they are stupid. So it's great to know that you have no problem with that. Although, did you ever have problem with that?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, of course, I had problems with that. Of course.
Uh-huh.
I basically don't have a problem with that for 2 years in my whole entire life. But of course, I had problems with that. I didn't know, and I was young, and I didn't want to say that I don't know, and I was bluffing, and I was caught when I was bluffing because people know stuff. And I embarrassed myself like bazillion million tons of times. And I don't know, it stopped eventually. I think it's a part of being a grown up and not making your life around your work. When I stopped being like, first, I'm Tina, the Google's ambassador. Secondly, I'm Tina, the employee of that company. Thirdly, I'm somebody's girlfriend or a dog owner or a friend, or I don't know, like the lady in front of the DJ. But now I don't have this pyramid that I was talking about. So now I know my place, and it's just it vanished. It magically vanished.
Mm. You know your place in the structure, or you know your worth as a whole, like what you bring into the company?
I know my worth as a solo brain carrier person. Okay, that's
Mm.
that's okay. I know my worth, and I don't I don't I I'm not scared. I used to be scared of getting fired like all the time. In every company that I was in, I was scared of being fired. I had the anxiety. I didn't know what I knew. It was like I would give like a solution to the problem, and if that solution actually worked, I was like surprised. And now when I give a solution to the problem, if that doesn't work, I ask the client, "Are you sure? Can I do this for you? Because I know it's going to work. I'm just more sure in my knowledge because I bluff less and I I experience. Okay, just I should have answered with just one word: experience.
Mm.
Experience.
Ex- mm. I remember you, Tina, from one of the first woman tech makers meetups organized by Google. And I remember you talking about the things that you need to focus on when you're organizing meetings, and you oozed with confidence. And I wonder whether such a thing like being part of the community or networking is helping in developing this self-worth and feeling good in what you do.
Yes, yes. I think that Google was one of the major life-changing experience in my life. And I used to have butterflies in my stomach every time I went to stage, and I never, ever gave or wanted to give a speech or like a tech talk or a hackathon or to be leading something. The only thing I led was panels, but I was just asking questions and saying like, "You shut up, you talk. You shut up, you talk." But like it in December last year, so like 7 months ago, we had DevFest in Croatia, and I came to the stage. I was also running a panel, and I didn't have butterflies anymore. So this is when I knew I don't care about this much. Until you have butterflies in your stomach,
Mhm.
just hold on to it. When they leave, you leave, and just another door will definitely open. But people need to know when to leave. I mean,
Mhm.
it's not a universal solution to all the problems. It's just that works for me. It might work for somebody else.
Well, I think there is a great saying, practice makes perfect. And
Hmm.
definitely practicing public speaking is useful when you eventually lose these butterflies and you feel confident enough with a bigger audience and speaking in front of them.
Mm, it does, but it's great when the butterflies are
Mm.
here. It means you're involved emotionally in your job, and you feel the urge to help or something like that. I'm at this point of my life when I feel the urge to take the knowledge and put it in my head, and not so much to help others. I'm a mom. I give to
Mhm.
my husband, to my child, to my dog, to my friends, to everybody, and to women tech makers, and to the girls I mentor, and to the boys I mentor, and to the community that is looking for events. And I just was like, nah, it's Tina time, so that's why I
Mm.
resigned there and enrolled to the college.
Mm. So, prioritizing your mental health and not
Mhm.
spreading yourself too thin is also something that working mothers have to pay close attention to. And Tina, I think you're a person with very strong assertiveness. Is there any, uh, hint or tip you would like to push onto those who cannot say no?
Just say no, it's great. Saying no, it's awesome. Say no more. I mean, I could have never. I never understood people like that. I was never. I wasn't a child who couldn't say no. I wasn't a teenager who couldn't say no. I was always saying no to this, yes to that, and I can't like have a normal answer because I never experienced the peer pressure, and I said yes because of the peer pressure. That wasn't my case, never in anything. So I can't
Mhm.
actually. I was born this way, and also I worked very hard on myself with my friend Ines, and we still work on each other. So it's really great to have close friends uh, who tell you you're
Mhm.
stupid or you're super stupid or you're good. Yeah, it's important with the people who you surround yourself with.
Uh-huh. Well, I love the fact that you're saying I can't give you normal answer. I think it's pretty normal answer to talk about your freedom, the freedom that comes with you saying no, because you don't have to carry somebody's expectation, because your expectations and your progress is your priority. Your mental health is definitely one thing to keep in mind when saying no.
Yep.
So, Tina, let's focus on the future because, as you mentioned, you have cut on some of the obligations you had. You are no longer going to be a lead at Women Tech Makers Croatia. So, what's the future for Tina?
Okay, so the 9 to 5 job, motherhood, decorating my new apartment. This is something that I'm really looking forward to. And the cyberpsychology at Dunleary Institute. My school starts at the end of September. So there is like a week. I have 6 months for the certificate, and then 2 years for master's degree. And this is something that okay. So like decorating my new apartment and cyberpsychology is something that it's here of the things that I'm looking forward to. Like besides my son, he's above all. I don't even have to talk about him, but this is something that is going to be like my hobby for the next couple of
Mm-hmm,
years. Yeah.
mm-hmm. So, why cyber psychology? And can you briefly explain what it is?
Okay, so cyberpsychology is a multidisciplinary science that became popular at like early 2000s, but it became a master's or something that can be schooled in the last 2 or 3 years. So like you can study it in Harvard and Stanford, at New Folk, at a whole lot of not a whole lot of a university. You can study it anywhere in Croatia or near Croatia. That's why I chose Dublin. Um, okay, so it's a science that researches and explores the way people interact with digital um, digital substances as I don't know, like smartphone, and with apps. So it's not only software, with software and hardware, and the research is vice versa. How I, as a developer or as a manager, can make my product be more appealing and more brainwashing to the customers. And actually, it's complicated, but I think it's the career driven, the career thing for the future. It's good for the companies. It's good for individual souls who will be lost in all this technology stuff.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. And you heard about it while researching artificial intelligence, right?
Mm-mm. Actually, I read.
No?
No, no. I was reading Carl Sagan, and I was started to think about like the world we live now, how different it is from the world where he lived, and how science, especially after COVID and during COVID, science became like a mocking word because there are so many internet warriors and self-pronounced experts in I don't know, like microbiology, vaccines, wars,
Mm,
cryptovalues, Wagner army, and so the science and scientists became obliged. I mean, it wasn't the science 30 years ago, 50 years ago, the science that has discovered atoms, that discovered that you can mutate sheep, that
mm,
put the man on the moon. Uh,
mhm,
and especially now this digital science. So I became with the rise of ChatGPT and all those AI-driven tools, softwares. I started to think about the world my son is going to grow up in, and it was scary to me. And I'm the generation of the dial-up internet. like before everything.
Mm.
And like, what am I like? A lot of things happened in my 30 years of career on this earth, and what's gonna be left to then? So I started to research, is there anything I can study that can be good for my family and my career? And I tried to find something that, because I don't know if you've seen my CV, but I did a whole lot of work, and if you look at it, I'm just like a jack of all trades and master of none. And
Mm.
I found out about, I don't, okay, so there's psychology of media, psychology of internet, psychology of digital media, of social media. And I found cyberpsychology, who is for software and hardware, and
Mhm.
it kind of makes a perfect little round circle around all my career choices, and I'm finally going to be something.
Until you discover something else, I
I,
guess.
I, I feel this. I feel this in my stomach. You know, like I
Uh-huh.
haven't been excited about anything like this in the career sense since Women Tech Makers.
Mm.
I
That's great.
yeah.
Hmm. That's excellent. We love people driven with obsession, with passion. Um, Although I have to say, Tina, that I think our children will be okay. I mean, he's going to be digitally native. He's probably not going to own a driving license because he's going to drive a driveless car. And there are so many beautiful things that come with the advancement of technology. And you probably remember our parents being worried because I'm slightly older. I'm nearly 10 years older than you, but I remember my mother being terrified because I binge watched MTV, and I watched all these, babes in cut short the shorts and dancing very sexually. And somehow I made it. I am through this, and I am focused on the things that matter in the future. So I think there is a great humanity future.
Ah, I would agree and disagree, because, like, in the last 2 years, there's been a rise of children in psychological institutions uh, because of their behavior online affected their behavior offline. And there
Mm,
is, and with the COVID, and we don't know if it's going to be another COVID or something like that. Like, people are going to be stuck on the internet. Okay, just look at Japan. The whole Japan is stuck on the internet. People are dying because their artificial girlfriend doesn't love them back, or because that company bankrupted and his artificial girlfriend is no longer online, and they're jumping out of buildings. Uh, and I just really want my son to spend more time in the forests, and when he comes online or when he uses hardware devices that are that are connected, that are Internet of Things, right? I want
mm,
him to have the knowledge of when to stop, when to quit, and to distinguish internet personality with people he's chatting with, and to to distinguish internet personality from real life personality, because those are totally different personalities, and there are
mhm,
still people not talking enough about that.
mm.
And I want
Well,
to
I
know.
think good. Well, I recommend you watch Dr. Rachel Coward talking to us a couple of months ago. She talked about how gaming is useful to development of children, and how to protect them from threats. Just like in real life, you prepare the child with different scenarios. I remember when I used to live in London, and I prepared my daughter uh, in case of an attack, and I actually physically tried to abuse her, and she thought she can scream and yell, and she couldn't. But this kind of work definitely prepares the child just in case something like that happens, and also let them know how to distinguish the bad behavior from the good behavior, because we need to talk about that more often.
Yeah, yeah.
And one thing, Tina, I have to say that I know what you're talking about, because media likes to highlight the bad things that happened, like, gamers who die in their bed, out of in their seat, because of heart attack, because they lost
Mm.
the battle or something. Of course, there will be examples like that. Of course, there will be people jumping off the Eiffel Tower and so on. However, I believe, and watching what is happening in Poland right now, I believe there is lots of self-consciousness. And looking at my child, my daughter, she's 23 years old, she is paying a lot of attention to psychology, human psychology, and I see that psychology is becoming a trendy topic again, because there are so many problems around us. And the mindfulness, the going back to the nature and reconnecting with nature, is something that is trending among the Z generation, I believe.
Good, good.
Good.
It should be like that. Yeah, good.
So, Tina, fill up your Eastern European glass half empty.
With juice.
There you go. I used to have the glass half empty, but actually, now that I have husband that is very optimistic, I like to look at the future with positive mindset, because this is PhD positivity hacks delivered, and we want to deliver only positive thoughts, even though there are some threats out there. So, Tina, let's go back to the fact that you're talking about your self development. And I wanted to ask you the question that we always like to ask: what is your life lesson quote, and how did it change you, or how it impacts your life?
Okay, so yeah, we talked about that on the email. So it's from Henry Bergson, and it's been my quote for, I don't know, like last 7 years. And I read a lot of quotes, but I still like this one. The quote talks about, I mean, I have it in Croatian. I try to, it sounds different in English, but I'll try to explain it. So it's about the, oh, I have to find the email. I'm sorry.
No problem. Let me
Yeah.
let me read it aloud. I have it in
Okay,
front of
thank
me. Creations of the spirit become a burden when the environment that made them necessary no longer exists.
and that's it.
Okay, explain to us.
Okay, so mm, like we were talking about it, I was a careerist, and I needed that career so I can have money, so I don't have to be poor again, so I can have food on my table every day, so my dog can have food. But now but okay, so I came into the status, and I can have my real job, I can have my side jobs, and I don't have to be afraid anymore. And that is the burden that was made by the
Mhm.
environment that I really lived in, but it doesn't exist anymore. And this creation of the spirit that we were talking about, do I still feel the urge to be more career driven? I don't, because
Mm,
the need doesn't exist anymore.
mm. Well, I can think of artists who are working on commissions, and their commissions are usually very blunt, whereas when they can work on something they envisage or they like to work on, it's definitely a beautiful piece of art. So I'm glad that you're keeping your spirit alive without any boundaries, Tina, and
That's it.
you're gonna deliver excellent cyber psychology projects in the future. Now, if there was a number one book you wish everybody read before starting their career, what did it be?
Okay, so I was talking about Carl Sagan, that was the book that changed my career path. But for everybody else, I would say I am okay, you are okay. I think Young. I am
Mhm.
okay. You are okay. It's from Thomas Anthony Harris. It's a
Mm.
great book, especially for women. It's from transactional analysis, and that is as that is a psychoanalytic course,
Mhm.
and the book itself explains a lot about how you don't have to be feeling guilty or how your worth shouldn't be measured by other people, and how you are not able to measure somebody else's worth. And that's why I'm okay, you are okay. I'm not brilliant and you are not stupid, and you are not brilliant and I am stupid. um,
Mm.
so I think that book is really good for people who start their careers, because it makes you mentally stable, and I think it helps with imposter syndrome. I think it helps with anxiety. I think it helps with making a decision that you should, like, I don't know, leave this company, or oh my god, that colleague hates me. That colleague doesn't really
Mm.
probably think about you at all. So I think it's like a really grounding book. Um,
Mm. So it's definitely helping with confidence, Tina. And you mentioned the fact that you have been a mentor for a couple of startups and females and males. What advice would you give to females to help their career or start an entrepreneurial journey or start a new course in cyber psychology?
uh-huh. I would give them. I need to write this down because we are short on time. So I would give them the same advice as male. First, don't say you know something if you don't. That I always say that to my mentees. Okay, so I'm like explaining something to them, and I'm like, "Do you understand?" And they're like, "Yes." And I can see that they don't understand, and that's something that is it's self-defense, of course, self-defense mechanism, but it's giving us more wrong than right, because if you say you understand something and I believe you, and then when we come to the problem and you can't solve it, then you obviously didn't understand it, right? So it takes us back, and the time of the project goes longer and longer and longer, just because you don't have enough modesty to say, no, I don't understand, explain it to me like I'm an idiot, or explain it in the other way, or in another language or something like that. Explain it to me in the pictures. There are a lot of ways of explaining or teaching somebody something, but you have to say you don't understand in order for us to find a way that will going to suit your way of learning. um, Ask questions. That's also something that is super important. And if the company you work for is not validating your success, leave them. It will not change. Probably
Mm.
your superior will not get fired. You will be. I'm talking about people who are just entering
Mm.
the market. Uh, if your successes are not valid, leave because you're wasting your time,
Mhm.
and the things will probably will change in another company, but it usually don't change in the same place where somebody just takes credit for your work or something like that.
Mhm. Fantastic, Tina. Thank you so much for the sound advice to men and to women who want to build their career. If your work worth is not validated, don't waste your time. Move on.
Hmm.
Now, absolutely. Tina, imagine you could travel anywhere in the world. I know that you have this beautiful project of a hundred and something apartment in the center of Zagreb. However, if you could travel right now anywhere in the world to meet anybody in the world, who would you love to have a private breakfast with and where?
With David Bowie in my
Oh,
own apartment right here.
mm-hmm,
Uh, I mean, I adore him. I adore the way he never quit it. His early music sucked, and he never quit. and he was always something new and something special, and he became a legend. And his wife and his daughter are legends. And just to see this balance, and I'm a stalker of David Bowie's life, so I know a whole lot of things. Even his house is decorated with balance.
Hmm.
Okay, so I would invite David Bowie over for breakfast, and I would definitely ask him if he could sing a song to my son, because ever since he was born, he loved David Bowie. I mean, I was listening to a lot of David Bowie when I was pregnant, but my son still is really cool with David Bowie.
Excellent. What's his favorite song?
I don't know. We have an album, so he's just like
Ah,
with all the songs, with the best of David Bowie,
uh-huh.
and he like dances his little fat feet, and yeah, he, he has an album.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, hopefully by the time he reaches the school, he's not gonna be obsessed with Baby Shark or anything like that.
No, 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 no. I'm not
Having
playing David
such
Shark.
a there you go. Having such a wonderful and outstanding mother is definitely going to make his path exciting. Well, it is time to reflect and maybe summarize our conversation with Oprah Winfrey's quotation. The biggest adventure you can take is to live the life of your dreams. Is it the life of your dreams, Tina?
Definitely, yes. I wouldn't change a thing. My dog
Excellent.
barks a bit too much, so I might change that. But that's like basically my biggest problem, because I'll bet my dog, he barks too much. I mean,
Uh-huh. He needs
yeah.
a proper behaviorist or
Oh,
psychologist.
oh my God, we changed so much trainers, and like today, I'm like, oh, whatever. I'm freezing his vocal cords, and my husband's like, yeah, and I'm like, no, I'm not. But oh, like
Oh, well.
uh, still in
Maybe
training.
he needs to drain energy with your son.
They're at the forest right now, hopefully draining vocal cords and legs and energy and everything. Yeah, yeah.
Fantastic. Tina, it's been emotional. Thank you so much for
Thank
providing
you.
hints and tips to becoming a wholesome parent and wholesome career driven person. Thank you very much, Olga Vasina, Zlatin Muratovic, and Inas Kesic
Yes.
for making comments and saying hello to us. And that's it from episode 110 of PhD Livestream. Thanks to our lovely guest, Tina Fisic. Did I say it right?
Fisic. It's like a little fish.
Fisic.
Fish with
Fi-
itch. Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
To stay updated and ensure you never miss a positivity hacks delivered, follow Woman on IT and turn on notification. Next week we are going to talk to Deborah Coviello. It is pre-recorded conversation, and we're going to talk about unleashing the power of soft skills. Thank you so much for our lovely audience, and as always, our positivity quote comes from positive thinking only and goes, look for something positive in each day, even if some days you have to look a little harder and fill your half empty glass. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. As Maya Angelou says, today is your day to hack the future, hack the positivity you want. Thank you.
Thank you.